those who are Muslim, please say one time Surah Fatiha and also one time Surah Ikhlas. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahus samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah innaka antal wahhab. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Rabbi irhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Rabbi irhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Assalamun alal mursalin. Wa la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum.
Good morning, His Excellency Dr. Zubin and everyone Mingalaha. I'm Alice from Myanmar and I'm Buddhist, and it's an honor to pray in Buddhist way on behalf of all the Buddhists and for all the living beings. I would like to start sharing Metta, Karuna and Mudita to everyone in this room. May all the living beings in this universe be peaceful, have peace of mind, peace of body, be happy and away from all the dangers. Be all the living being in this room, in this building, in this whole campus, have peace of mind, peace of body, be happy and away from all the danger. And may this GBM meeting be successful from the beginning to the end without any danger, without any disturbance, and with peace of mind, love, and kind affection. And everybody who is traveling in Indonesia, abroad, be safe, be happy, and reach to the destiny happily and safely. And may all Buddha bless you all. Because in our Buddhism, it is a very long to send prayer a bit long. So to save the time, I just translate it in English and I just have to breathe that way. Because in Myanmar, we give metta to every direction every morning. That's the way we pray. Thank you.
O Lord Jesus Christ, we implore you to guide us in this meeting, for us to have a rational mind, for us to be respectful of our individuality, and also to embrace our diversity. It is our prayers that each one of us will be rational in processing whatever is put into table, because we have one goal, one vision, that is a strong AIT. So at the conclusion of this 47th governing body meeting, we implore you that you provide us with one voice, a voice that will result to a sustainable AIT, and also to make AIT forever strong. In Jesus' name, our Lord, we thank you. Please help us and hear our prayers. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. I am going to chant one very small prayer that we usually pray at the beginning of any big occasion, any event, to pray to God to have everything go smoothly. And this prayer is also called prayer of purification. The purification of the place, the purification of all the spirits around here. And so just bear few minutes of my chanting. And my two fellow countrymen, actually more, will be joining me Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhurvasvat Tasya Viturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Program for today. Does everybody have a copy? Okay. Please note that there has been some revision because we did not start at 9 a.m. Time check. It's now 8:56, so we can actually start. But if there are some people who are going to dial in with the Zoom, I think we now have two participants online. So if there are some who would like to check who are participating from outside of these premises, then it would be very welcome. So we can start. Good morning, everyone. And if you take a note of the program, we will proceed as described. Thank you.
Next, we will have Dr. Hotniang, Indonesian Chapter Presidents, to have a welcoming address.
Selamat pagi, Bapak Ibu. I'm talking in Indonesia. So that's good morning to everyone in Indonesia. Good morning and welcome to Indonesia, particularly to Banten province. We're glad that all of you come from far away, especially from USA. It's just how many hours from USA? Perhaps 30, more than 30 hours? Or? Okay. So we are very pleased to welcome you here to Indonesia. And special welcome to our new president, Dr. Wu, and also to our new president of AIT, Mrs. Faith, and also to Prof. Subin. I'm always enjoying to meet Prof. Subin in every GBM. He always present, and we hope that he will be blessed to be with us 2 more years, next year and the next year and the next year. So he can always guide us, of course, to strengthen our network, our alumni, and also our lovely AIT. And as I said last night, again, I'm asking for apology. Perhaps you expect more than this. If you come to Indonesia, you expect more than what we can give to you. But what can I say? It's very short time. Only 1 year. Even since I joined this GBM 2015, since I knew that there is GBM, I haven't imagined that we will host this big event.
Now, I was surprised to find out we have a very senior, distinguished guest, Pak Tanti, I think some 30 years, 40 years later, earlier, graduate. Can you raise Pak Tanti? One of our senior next we'll have Ms. Nuestro. We have some opening speech.
I know it is a challenging job that she accepted, and we are actually so impressed that with a short time of preparation, everything is going well. And please note that this place is much, much better than any hotel that is possible here in Jakarta, because if you notice just outside, the air is fresh compared to the city proper where all the traffic is there. So it is a very good choice, and congratulations for that. Thank you. I would like to welcome all the delegates who are here. There are 18 chapters who are now represented here, and it is a good number for us to make decisions and to share what is happening in the chapters with our alumni. I would like also to take this opportunity to welcome Professor Subin and Dr. Aiden Moon and Mr. Sanjeev, Mr. Karmarana for joining us just to make sure that we are also aware in what's going on with our alma mater, the Asian Institute of Technology. So with that, let's make this a happy and serious and productive day for all of us, because next year will be a more challenging year for us, with AIT celebrating its 60th year. So it is a time for us to start preparing as well. Given that, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. That is in Filipino. Good morning, everybody, and let's have a very good day today.
Thank you, Ms. Maestro. Just give you a short note. This place, yes, it is resemble our memories of AIT. It's greener and also it's cheaper. Now next we'll have welcoming remarks by the Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Subin. Okay, President, would you like to take this for you?
Good morning, friends, colleagues. As the chairman of the AIT Board of Trustees, and especially alumnus of AIT, the first group of AIT students, it gives me a great pleasure to participate in the 47th governing board meeting of Alumni Association here in Jakarta. I would like to extend my warm welcome to all of you. At the outset, and on behalf of the AIT Board of Trustees, I would like to extend my heartfelt sympathies to the families affected by the earthquakes and tsunami that attacked the central Sulawesi, Indonesia. Indonesia is a close friend and partner of AIT. And AIT stands ready to offer any assistance and it can although it is going to be a long road towards the rehabilitation, I am confident that Indonesia will make a quick and strong recovery from this unfortunate tragedy. In spite of the challenge, it is truly admirable that the AIT Indonesia chapter has gone ahead and is graciously hosting the GBM. Our heartfelt thanks to all the alumni in Indonesia for this very warm welcome and for your hard work and efforts in making the GBM to fruition. I wish to convey my gratitude to all members of the alumni who have rendered their full support to AIT and continue to reach out in different ways and means. Our task and responsibilities could continue as we share the same aim, and that is to move forward for the betterment and brighter future of the Institute. I shall be reporting in more detail this afternoon about the AIT 60th anniversary task force, which I am chairing, and the activities we are planning with our alumni, especially from the Thai chapter. In concluding, I wish to once again wish all of you a very fruitful GBM, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, next we'll have a few words of opening remark from the AIT President. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Evan Wood.
Good morning, everyone. I'm honored to be here, but I echo what Puspitek has said. I think that we all should pause and really express deep sympathy for the country of Indonesia, who has had so many disasters, natural and also man-made, in the past few months, including the jetliner accident just a few days ago. And AIT's heart goes out to all the people, all the families that were affected, all the citizens of Indonesia. And I think that we're very fortunate to be here holding this meeting, but we should think about all the people that were not so fortunate. And we wish the best for Indonesia and the resolute drive to keep this country strong and keep the citizens' livelihood to go continually up. So that's my first point. My second point is that I'm very glad to be here at my first GBM. Those of you who were here last night heard Professor Warsak being quoted, and of course he was a pillar for AIT for many, many, many decades, and also was the president during a very critical time for AIT to keep the institution afloat, and he did that, and now we wish him a happy life after AIT, because he was so much, his life was so much of AIT. But here I am. I was selected by the board earlier this year to succeed him and to take the institution forward. And as I have discovered through these months, and also through the 2 months that I've been president now, exactly 2 months, September 1 is when I came on, I have come to appreciate and know the glorious history of AIT, the tremendous contributions it has made to society and communities in this region, and to the graduates' career and their lives, and also the contribution to AIT by the graduates. And so my promise is to carry this legacy forward, that whatever improvements, whatever enhancements, whatever transformation that I want to do and we need to do for AIT, we will always keep that in mind. And it is not going to be a revolutionary 180 change, but there will be changes being made, as I said in my vision speech, which many of you saw or heard on September 5th. We are at a crossroads. We need a new business model. We have to go forward in a very, very competitive higher education landscape. All of us want the institution to do well. I want the institution to do well, and I'm dedicating the next years of my life, or my career, to making sure that the institute goes up and up from here. And I will talk more this afternoon about the resources we need, and I'll talk this evening about why those resources are needed to get to a place that all of us want AIT to be in. So I won't belabor those points, but I will just end my brief remarks this morning by saying once again, thank you very much for including me into your family, and thank you very much the Indonesia chapter for hosting us, hosting a large event for many people coming from outside the country is never easy, and to put together an event means a lot of sweat and heartache and sleepless nights. And we thank the Indonesian chapter president and also her very extremely capable staff. And we thank you, and we thank all of you for coming to this event. And may I wish also that this GBM be a successful one, and everyone goes home safe and thinking about what we need to, each one of us needs to do for AIT. Thank you very much.
Possible activity 2008 47th GBM of AIT. Thank you very much.
My name is Tommy from Taiwan. I feel very honored to present our annual report of AIT ROC chapter. Although most of you understand we are from Taiwan, but the formal name of our chapter is ROC. I don't get into the detail, but it's a long story, okay? So, this chapter was actually established in 1971. It's a very long history, and already registered in Taiwan as an official alumni association. And today, we have 836 members. We have 21 directors, 7 supervisors. The current president is Dr. Zheng Shenbao. He is graduated from in 1985. Actually, he is on business trip to Japan, so he is actually quite sorry about his accident. And we have regular member more than 400, permanent member 162, honorable member 35. And AIT alumni are very outstanding in Taiwan. Many of them actually are at steadier position now. Starting from the left-hand side, Mr. Zhang Zhenyuan is actually the Vice Minister of the Ministry of Transportation and Communication. And then Mr. Yan Jiurong is the Deputy Minister of Public Construction Commission. Mr. Fan Zhihu, he is actually our former president chairman of CR Classification Society. And also our president, he is also the chairman of Sinotech Engineering Consultant Incorporated. And Mr. Zhou Yiliang is the chairman of CECI Engineering Consultant Incorporated Taiwan, which is the biggest design firm in Taiwan. And Mr. Gao Zhongzhen, he is the chairman of Taiwan Construction Research Institute. Mr. Shen Hua Yang is the chairman of BS Engineering Corporation. Mr. Hong Xin is the president of Kaohsiung Rapid Transit Corporation. Last year, after the GBM, actually we organized a golf program, and 10 alumni joined the golf program, including the president of Vietnam, Mr. Lee, and also South Korea, Dr. Lee. Okay. And then they win the championship. That's the main point. Okay. And also former president, former vice president, Professor Wama and Palma and his family visit Taipei this May. We have gathered to welcome him. After the 46 GBM, we have an appreciation dinner for local organizing committee and the volunteer team. More than 40 persons attended dinners. And also we try to connect the alumni in southern and central Taiwan to live together. So a total of 26 alumni attend the event of alumni gathering party. And this year, this July, actually we jointly organized a 2018 disaster reduction engineering camp. We try to have the younger generation in remote area about the concept of debris flow and landslide and how to avoid and the reduction measure and how to evacuate. These are the photos taken from the scenes. We also organized a day tour in this September to visit Kaohsiung MRT. Actually, the president of Kaohsiung MRT company is our alumnus. And he provides a very detailed and inside guide tour to the MRT system. This station has been ranked as a top 10 beautiful MRT station. It's a must-see when you go to Taiwan, go to the southern Taiwan. And on 29th of September, we organized a party at Regent Taipei to celebrate Dr. Mo's birthday. Dr. Mo is our most senior member and also is a well-respected person in Taiwan. More than 40 alumni joined us in the party. And for those who did not attend last year's GBM, these are some photos. Actually, there are more than 300 delegates from more than 20 national chapters attend this GBM in Taipei. And these are the photo shots taken at the event. In this June, actually, we organized the annual general meeting. After the meeting, we have a 2-day ecological and cultural tour in Tainan City. Tainan City is actually the ancient city of Taiwan. We will honor President Fei attend our party and also Tainan City acting mayor attend our GBM annual meeting. These are good photos taken at the annual GBM AGM meeting. Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry to cut into your lunch hour, but Sanjeev, my trusted colleague, is leaving for the airport after the session. And so in order to beat the Jakarta traffic, he needs to leave early for a tomorrow morning's flight. So we need to do this right now before he leaves, because we need him to do the session. Anyway, first of all, I'm giving 2 talks the rest of the day. One today, this morning, or today, right now, this afternoon, and then one this evening. And this evening is supposed to be the vision on our strategy going ahead for AIT. And right now it's supposed to be about resources, fundraising, etc. So I apologize, the order is actually reversed. Okay, what it should be is that I will tell you what we're trying to do at AIT, and then where we're trying to go to, and the road ahead. Okay, then you get so excited about it, you say, oh, how do I help you get there? Then I say, here is how. Then I give you the resources needs. But unfortunately, we do the resources needs first, and then we do the where do we go to this evening. So I apologize for that, but I think that we can figure that out. So anyway, so in order to transform AIT, we really need to have additional resources. Okay, and Sanjeev is now passing out the little. This is just an in-house pamphlet that we did very quickly. It contains all the information that's useful, but we'll be designing it and having an outside designer and do one that's proper for the outside world and for the rest of you, in time. So, but for now, we just take a look at this version here. Basically, what needs to be done for AIT is, in my view, a few things. Number one, we have to beef up our faculty. Okay, we have to beef up our faculty. We've been losing faculty strength, gradually, and I have to admit that there are programs that gradually we're not providing anymore. That are actually very excellent programs. Some of the programs that you graduated from do not exist anymore. So we need to really beef up the faculty strength. Secondly, you also need to beef up the faculty in other areas. If you want to do innovation, you have to bring in some additional faculty who are not in the traditional strengths that we are in, but in fields such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, things like this that other universities are teaching, and we need to also, because those fields are going to help modernize our curriculum. So faculty strength is a top priority. The second priority is that we have to upgrade our facilities. And this relates to laboratories. I went around and looked at the laboratories, and frankly, the equipment is not as up to date as it should be, and we really need money to upgrade the facilities. Then, of course, there's the student dormitories. All of you, I'm very happy that remember founding your time at AIT, including your time living in our dormitories. But the dormitories get older every day, and again, I visited the dormitories, and I felt that they were not up to standard. They should be in better shape, and I think our students deserve living spaces which are more up to date. So that's number one is faculty. Number two is the facilities. Third is when we look at what we need, we want to build a new building. We want to build a new building, and we're going to call it the Innovation and Interdisciplinary Building, the IIB. Okay. And building a building, of course, as you know, always take a big sum of money. Except we're fortunate that in Thailand, actually the construction cost is much less than some other places, like in Hong Kong, where I was it would be exorbitant. Okay. So therefore, the pamphlet you see is basically says, number one, what is the theme of this campaign? It's a fundraising campaign. Let me just be very bold about it. It's a fundraising campaign in conjunction with the 60th anniversary.
Just for Vijay's point, actually this due to Asia, we did the due diligence and we got the approval. And since the last 3 years, we are receiving money from US alumni to due to Asia. and they get the 501c tax benefit. So we receive quite a lot already. Sharif knows this. Thank you.
Now, you may mention how about the Thai nationals too.
Yeah, I think for Thai nationals or Thai companies that give to AIT, we have just got approval from the Indian Revenue Service that this money, since it's given to a non-profit education organization, the tax reimbursable can be 2 times.
Yeah, double
tax.
You get double the tax benefit if you're a Thai citizen donating to AIT.
No.
What about the Southeast Asia chapter?
No. Only anybody who is paying tax in Thailand can get the double of the tax benefit.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Oh, including Southeast Asia chapter.
Including everyone.
Okay.
Including yourself also. Including everyone. Yes. I get double tax benefit. So whatever you contribute, you get double if you are paying income tax in Thailand. That's it.
Okay, if you have any other questions, I'm around, and Sanjeev is going on an airplane, but you can find him anywhere. He's easy to find. And Dr. Subin needs time to talk about the 60th anniversary. So thank you very much, and I'll talk to you again this evening. Thank you.
As the chairman of the board of trustees of AIT, I would like to share or express my view about AIT in general. And also I would like to brief you the preparation of the 60th anniversary celebration by the organizing committee where I share. This year, 2018, I think is very important year for AIT. As we transition to a new president, Dr. Wu, who took the position of the institute as a president from September 1st of this year. With his wealth of knowledge and experiences from academic, the corporate sector, and working with the governments, we are confident that Dr. Wu will further consolidate and build upon the good work carried out by Dr. Wasa in leading AIT to a new height. I also like to put on record our appreciation and thanks to Dr. Wasa for his significant contribution to AIT. I am sure that he will continue to support AIT in all ways and that he can. Since AIT inception in 1959, we have a history of contribution towards the technological advancement and development of countries in Asia through higher education, business, and outreach. At the age of 60 of AIT, when the world continues to change at an astonishing rate under the global megatrends and with the exponential growth of the disruptive technologies. AIT needs to reflect on its past accomplishments and ponder on its direction to face the changing world. The international demand for globally responsible citizens in the globalization age has reinforced the important role of AIT in the development of global citizens. By our AIT alumni networking, I also got from our friends during this meeting all the chapters keywords. AIT should be the international business networking, not only just come here and have a social function. I think we are the leading person or leading organization that we can share and work together. I would like to use this keyword as what we are talking about, the business networking. This will be the international business networking among ourselves. AIT will be celebrating the 60th anniversary in 2019.
I'm sure. I'm sorry to keep you waiting for the coffee. President Wu, Board of Trustees Chairman Mr. Subin, and President AITA. I'll try to rush through this with the greatest restraint so that you can have go out for a cup of coffee as soon as possible. I'm presenting the report of the Statutes Committee. We were appointed a few months ago, and the outside representative will be on the background, the mandate, objectives of the committee, composition of the committee, tasks and activities, expected outputs, detailed plan and timeline, action items from the GPA members, next steps. Background to this is, we have been discussing over the whole day, the need to reform in a way, even just the discussion we had, made several pointers to the needs of to upgrade the statutes in order to make our association more effective, more relevant, and the latest thing is to somehow make sure that we are in a position to be flexible and resilient to the needs of the future. How AIT is organized, we have a good look, and whether it's still relevant to the present times. That's the vision and the mission. I went through it, needs some revision. How AIT responds to the needs of the members and to the AIT. We just heard about the disasters, about Dr. Woon's need to raise money for AIT, to transform the AIT itself, to require certain amendments to be done. How does AITA respond to this needs of today? Issues on handling election, pre and post-election, election procedures. Please note our member in the Statistics Committee, Shadat Chowdhury, I think yesterday circulated a set of bylaws. I think it came far too late for us to adopt it at this GPM. It's up to the President to see whether we can adopt it or we can have a process by which we adopt even during the session so that the next election can in fact necessarily conducted under those bylaws if the entire membership of AITA feels it can be done. So, to see AIT thriving in the future with a new vision in an innovative manner, and have expressed this wish to work with the AITA and important stakeholder. We heard what he wants us to do. Whereas Maria Fellows in her manifesto stated that the Statutes Committee will be formed to focus on the key laws, on the bylaws for association as well as the organized structure of the association. Whereas by AIT Executive Memorandum 2018-03, formed the advice and recommendation of the AIT Executive Committee, established the creation of the Statutes Committee as a special working committee of the AITA, and the Statutes Committee was thus established through a consultative process among the core group that expressed their opinion to contribute to the revisions of statutes, and the undersigned appointed as chair of the Tribunal Committee proposed as the first GPM of AITA in Jakarta. The members of the Portland Governing Board of AIT takes note of the efforts made by the Tribunal Committee in the past several months, resolves that the Statutes Committee shall adopt a wider consultative mechanism to solicit the views of as many AITA members as possible through their national chapters, so that this committee will focus on the statute, bylaws of our association, as well as the organizational structure of the association. And should changes need to be made, the committee will disseminate the changes proposed and its impact to the operation of the AITA well in time to ensure that every active alumni will be made aware of the changes, as well as the move towards the acceptance and adoption of the changes as the 14th GBM to be held in Bangkok in 2009. I move that this resolution be accepted.
Can we go to the next report? Will the membership committee have any report to discuss?
Not much.
Yes, okay. Alice, please go ahead.
Not much, because I found out that most of the facts I like to highlight is already mentioned by Dr. Fernando. So if you like me, so I would just like to add something, that's all. If you want me, right? Yeah. So thank you for Dr. Fernando, because you have mentioned a lot of things I like to discuss as well. So, and first of all, I like to express my sincere appreciation to FAIR and the group, Dr. Suranto and Dr. Fernando. You know, I see a lot of video meeting and all this, you know, during these few months ago, you know, and I do really appreciate. And I have to admit that some of the time, most of the time, I was failing due to my other responsibilities and coincidence that I can't avoid. And I do apologize for my absence during these times. And yeah, so when you say reform, these things are also included, right? Duty is to perform, and I don't want to make excuses. So what we need is a good result coming out. So in this case, when we work, we should cooperate each other. And if, for example, say somebody is not cannot perform well, then somebody should take over and do work to make our work out, right? So that's my concept. Another thing is we like to find out the resolution for the membership committee to coordinate with the chapter, and I found that
especially tell AITAA what they need. If the chapter needs to raise funds, they may also need seed money to raise money. And other resources of AITAA that we should consider, for example, I think some of the alumni already suggest that the only graduate, maybe they have to pay for the alumni membership fee. Can be in cash or in kind. And the rule of endorsement, including the naming right, etc., and the need appropriate matching of donor and the beneficiary. And each approved project or item initiated by other committee that needs fund resource has to be first provide at least one-page description of the project. Second, present a clear budget item in detail to complete the project without quotation, with quotation submitted by the producer. Thirdly, the total exact amount needed for the project must be specified. For example, library for 30 million baht, etc. And the endowment committee, we review this document if the information is sufficient to present to the alumni network. Upon certification, the endowment committee will disseminate the document to all chapter presidents for solicitation. And the endowment committee suggests that all donations coming from each chapter should be collected by each chapter board of officers. And upon deadline of the whole amount will be transferred to the AITAA through this committee. And one website platform will be used to update donation received from each chapter to provide transparency to the donor. The donors may know that the amount was received on which day. The donor will also know if the fundraise has been achieved. Once the amount collected reaches the goal, the platform will announce to the alumni network that the donation is closed. These are provisions on overshooting the goal. There may be at the same time many projects that are requesting for funding. And each chapter needs to specify how much go to the, for example, the coffee book, table book, and how much go to the e-book. In the event of overshooting the donation amount need to deliver the project, the AITAA needs to create an N+1 project as a receiver. This needs to be specific and not ambiguous in the spirit of transparency and accountability. This can be first, operational fund needed by the AITAA, second, scholarship for the student or others. This extra project has to be specified in the solicitation and allow the donor to decide if they accept spillover to go to this extra project. And then bank account, the endowment committee review the bank rule and realize that associate document will be required by the bank to open an account. The country where the association is registered should be the first approach to open a bank account. Foreign country banks may easily allow individuals responsible to open the new account, but not for association. That's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tommy. Any discussion about money is critical?
5 years to be forward for the 60th anniversary. What you see on screen is an actual production version, although with limited functionality, of how we plan to go forward with the idea of taking our new president's word. We do great work. In this book, we talked about our glorious 55 years. In this website called, and I'm walking around as an advertisement, hashtag AIT Legacy, Legacy, if you haven't gotten it, we're going to be showcasing contribution areas, legacy projects of the alumni over the past 60 years. And then we were told, how about those of us with no real projects? I'm SOM. I come up with ideas, I don't build structures. We were given a nice idea by the editorial board, and Sean Kelly, who's not with us, he's now former media relations unit, but he's now with the external relations unit. He said, you know what? To make it more interesting, don't just showcase achievements, projects, we can relate to that, but put in personal triumphs, where you were able to make a difference, at least to your mind. So we put in personal triumphs. So this website works this way. It showcases AIT alumni's achievements and personal triumphs in a way that is easy to work with. This will become a carousel. If there are 100 contributions, 100 projects will be shown. If there are 100 personal triumphs, 100 personal triumphs will be shown. You want to look at any region where there are alumni achievements or triumphs, click to any region. This is Eastern Asia. And it just scrolls, and if I click Southeast Asia, then I see all the projects in Southeast Asia. If I want to see all the projects of CERT, School of Environmental Resources, I click on that, and I see a listing of all the CERT projects, all of the SOM projects, all of the SDB projects.
The highlights of our AGM today. Date, November 3, 2008. On the first session, it started at 8:50 a.m. The governing board meeting was officially opened by our EITA Headquarter President, Fiferios, by singing the national anthem of Indonesia. Then it was followed by short prayers for Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, and Hindu representatives. And our EIT Headquarter President also reminded for the agenda of the program that was distributed through emails, and the utilization of the www.zoom apps for live streaming, and non-attendees will be able to participate in the meeting. A welcome address was given by our president, EITA Indonesia chapter, Dr. Hiknyar Ringo. She acknowledged the presence of the presidents of EIT and EITA headquarters. She expressed an apology for any shortcomings due to short preparation for the GBM as the host chapter. She also acknowledged the members of the organizing committees to make this event possible, and she encouraged everyone to enjoy Indonesia. And our MC acknowledged a senior representative from Indonesia, Elanti, graduated in 1981. Our AITA headquarters Fiferios also acknowledged the initiative of Indonesia chapter for hosting the event despite the short notice. She welcomed the delegates from the 18 chapters represented in the event. Welcome distinguished guests from the EIT administration. A welcome remarks from the Board of Trustees, Dr. Subin Pinkayan. He expressed the assistance of EIT extended to the areas affected by tsunami, conveyed his gratitude to the alumni, support to EIT, and continue to support for the betterment of the Institute. He also informed the participant for the 60th EIT celebration next year that he is chairing. Another opening remarks by Dr. Eden Moon, the newly elected EIT president. He also expressed his sympathy to the affected areas in Indonesia who were struck by disasters and to help them, keeping the country strong. He acknowledged the significant contribution of EIT to the communities and the alumni as well. After the opening remarks, it was followed by the introduction of chapter representatives from Australia, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Cambodia, Japan, Korea, Myanmar, Nepal, Laos, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Singapore, Southeast Asia chapter, ROC, Taiwan, Thailand, USA, and Vietnam.
Okay, thank you. So may I now invite Indonesian chapter and the Thai chapter so that we can do the turnover of the hosting from the 47 to the 48 GBM. We take this opportunity to again thank AITA Indonesia chapter for doing such a wonderful job of hosting. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to make a small announcement. We would be adjourning in a short while, but a reminder, for those who would have to pay the hotel for the extra nights, please make sure that before you check out, everything is settled. We don't want to leave the AIT Indonesia chapter to do the settling. Thank you very much, and with that, may I officially adjourn the 47th AITAA GBM. Thank you very much.
We request you to have a dinner first. The dinner served outside, so we can take from outside and bring it to your table. So please enjoy your dinner, and after that we have also traditional dance, and enjoy the traditional dance. This one from Bali. If you don't have time to go to Bali, at least you can see directly the dance from Bali. And enjoy the evening. Now, good evening. Facing girl. Okay.
Congratulations to all the awardees, distinguished alumni awardees, and also welcome to the new honorary members of the association. At this point in time, before we go, we would like to hear an inspirational message so that by the time we get home, we know that we have assignments to really respond to the challenge that has been given today to all the alumni. So may I invite Dr. Eden Moon to give us the keynote address for tonight.
Thank you very much, Faye. And it's very difficult to be giving a talk on the last evening when people are celebrating the end of a very successful conference. But since I was given the task, I will try. The good news for you is that in moving the hotel venue from the other one to this one, they misplaced my 47-slide PowerPoint. The bad news for you is that I still have my 47-slide script. So anyway, so we don't have a PowerPoint, but if you, what I'm going to do is to talk about the vision talk that I gave on September 5th, and then today I will fill in some details. So if you recall, there was a formula in my talk. Who remember what the formula was? How about that table over there? The table to the far right. They're discussing how to answer my question, I think. Yoo-hoo! Table on the far right. Do you remember what was the formula in my talk on September 5th? Okay, they don't remember. Who remembers? Yes. Huh? No, the formula, just the initials. Very good, you get 10 points. I squared, E squared, S squared. Remember that? Okay? I squared stands for innovation and international. E squared stands for enterprise and entrepreneurship. S squared stands for stakeholder and support. Okay? That was I squared, E squared, S squared. So I'll go in a little more detail on what is happening to these three, okay, or these six. First of all, some of them I have already started doing in the last 2 months. Okay, I've been there exactly 2 months. On September 1, I arrived. Some of them are being put into the budget for 2019, which Dr. Subin has not approved yet, of course, but I have already put it into the budget. And some others, I have to wait until my vice presidents come onto the scene, because I don't want to do anything that would bind their hand. So they may have to do certain initiatives and do certain hirings after they get here, and I probably won't have my vice president's team until maybe, if I'm lucky, probably February or March. Okay, so that's the 3 parts. Okay, for the first part, let's go on to the I squared, E squared, S squared. Okay, so innovation. So what do I mean by innovation? First of all, as I said this afternoon, I think that we are missing some of the fast, recent advances in technology. And we need to bring that to the Institute. In other words, we're setting up an AI center. We're just setting up the last couple of weeks an AI center, artificial intelligence. And we have a mechatronics department, but it is, in terms of advances, is way behind places like Heist and Carnegie Mellon, but also behind many universities. We don't have any blockchain study at all because our School of Management, as you know, is only barely surviving without a dean at this time. And then we don't have Internet of Things. We have some faculty members who are dabbling in that, but in any case, what we need to do is to modernize our curriculum. So that's one meaning of innovation. So I want to take the traditional strengths that we have, all the majors that you have studied when you were at AIT 10, 20, 30 years ago, many of them are still working on problems that are relevant to the world today, like climate change. You know, that is not only a Southeast Asian problem. That is not only a problem of 1959. That's a problem for now and for many, many, many decades and centuries to come. But however, today, they're using AI to look at climate change, okay? And agriculture and food and aquaculture. They're using robotics to look at those, how to make smart farming. They're doing that, okay? And you look at civil engineering and construction. They're using robots to look at construction, okay? And so many, many of these fields are very traditional, but yet they can use more advanced, different type of perspective thinking. And so that's what I want to bring to AIT. Okay, that's innovation. And then the other part of innovation, some of you mentioned also, is that our education system is not up to date. We don't do enough to link the students with the society, with enterprises, and we don't we're not using the MOOCs, the online, the blended courses, the more progressive type of teaching methods. And that includes, we need to look at some one-year master's program. We need to look at more professional master's program. I know that one-year master's program is always a little bit controversial because people think that, oh, this means that you're diluting the study. But I think that you can be assured of your alma mater that if we're going to provide a one-year master's program, it would be one that we think academically would be a sound program. And many, many universities are going to one-year master's program because, frankly, time is money. And to go away for 2 years may be okay if you're on a scholarship from government or from somebody, but if we want more self-funded students, we want people to come from industry to take a master's with us, I don't think that they can afford to be away for more than 1 year, okay? And frankly, I don't think we'll go that far. They probably would rather take a part-time master's course. But barring doing that, at least we can try the one-year master's course. So innovation in teaching, innovation in research, and then more interdisciplinary collaboration. This is why we need that building that I told you about, the IIB, Innovation in Interdisciplinary Building, so that we can have more cross-discipline. I don't want Sir to be sitting over here and Seth sitting over here. I want them to be collaborating. And especially if we have an SOM, once we get a new dean, my charge to him would be to work very closely with the other two schools, with the engineering school and also with the environment, resource, and development. Because it's a shame to have a university, to have an institute that has these disciplines and the disciplines don't work together. Because today, all the challenges of the world are interdisciplinary. We don't have any chemistry problems. We don't have any biology problems. We have problems that are solved by 6, 7, 8, 10 different fields. And that's what we need to do with our innovation part. Internationalization, what do I mean by that? Well, we used to be supported by a lot of Western countries. Okay? Now, I think that gradually our focus is retreating from that global footprint. So I want to bring back our partnerships in France, in Sweden, and we have a delegation coming in from the Royal Technical University in Sweden. We actually had a vice president from AIT that went there, that has left AIT, has gone over there. So we do have connections at those places. We have a lot of connections in France. Many of you got degrees in France. So I want to revive those connections, and I want to have exchanges. You know, we serve Asian students, but these Asian students should have the opportunity to go exchange to LA, to go exchange to Paris, to go exchange to Mexico City, to go exchange to Santiago, Chile, to go exchange to Chicago. They ought to have the chance of doing that. And while doing that, we will bring in students from those areas and diversify our campus. If I were from Sri Lanka, I come from Sri Lanka to Bangkok to go to AIT. Okay, I don't want to just see only Sri Lankan classmates. Okay, I could have done that back home. All right, I want to see classmates from all over the place, classmates from Myanmar, from Nepal, and also you have the exchange students that are here from Europe and America. And frankly, I think that the AIT's name and the Bangkok location should be able to attract some of these foreign students to come over for 3 months, 4 months, or maybe even for the summer. So that is one way to diversify our campus. And I mean also Japan and Korea and China. Okay, China right now we have less than 20 students. Okay, like 18 students. That's like 1% of our population. We have 1,800 students. I have not seen any university in the world that has only 1% Chinese students, except at AIT. okay? And so this is another part that we're going to be working. This is what I mean by international. We need a global footprint. And I also want to have some relationships with what I would call aspirational universities. In other words, some top universities that we can work with. How? We can work with on exchange students. I just mentioned that. We can work with them if they want to have send faculty members over. Now, why would they want to send faculty members over? Because of what I said earlier, because of our traditional research strength. What is our strength? Our strength are issues like sustainability, food and aquaculture, civil engineering, water resources, waste management, fisheries, and energy. And all these issues really are something that I think is too bad that many of these traditional universities, some of these powerhouses, don't study because they're too busy trying to figure out what is 6G. They're trying to solve how to cure Alzheimer's disease. They're trying to push the frontiers of astronomy. Okay, they're busy doing that, which are extremely worthwhile. There's no doubt about it. That type of research. But what we have that they don't have is a very, very deep and broad understanding of community problems, society problems, and those are the and networks that we have in this region. Look in this room. We have networks in every single country here, and it's one-stop shop because we all speak English. And if any of those universities come over, and we can direct them to any of these countries that are in this room, in the highest levels of government. So that's our advantage, and that's why I'm confident that I can attract some of these students, some of these other universities, which may be much better than us in robotics, much better than us in nanotechnology, but yet they would be interested in working with us. I'm going to Taiwan next week at National Taiwan University. They asked me to speak at a forum, and I've already composed a title for my speech. Is going to be Innovation for Social Impact. Okay, I think that many of those other universities are not directly working on social impact, whereas we're working directly on social impact. But we're not working directly on innovation. So therefore, I want to put them together, and so this would be like a complementary relationship with these universities. Now, that's not to say, please don't get me wrong, I think our faculty members are doing the best they can with the contacts they have, with the knowledge they have, and with the equipment that they have. But yet, I think that they're actually the potential we can do much better. And that's what I tell my faculty, and that's why in the budget that I have for next year that I'm proposing, okay, one of the things I want to add and not reduce is faculty budget. Because that's the key for a top university is top faculty. So that's something that we must improve on. So, internationalization means we're aspiring to have relationships with some of the more famous, if you wish, universities or higher ranking universities that you know about, you heard about. But it also means working in research, working in partnership with many, many other universities. And the universities in this region, or in the Middle East, or in Latin America, many of them can work with us as peers. And I want to expand that kind of relationship also. So some of you know Sean Kelly. I already told him, I said, you're going to be very busy, okay, because he's the head of external relationships. So that's the I. What is the first E? The first E is enterprise. Okay, we do very well with NGOs, we do very well with governments, we do some things with industry and enterprises, but by and large, our relationship with enterprises and the business sector is not as good as it should be. Okay, for example, AIT Extension, which does very well in training courses, and they make money for the AIT. However, when I ask them, what is your clientele profile? They tell me that over 80% of their clientele are government or NGOs. Okay, and that really shocked me because a big source of income for training would be senior executives from companies. Okay, if you give a short course, 3-day course in a certain field, in data analytics, for example, you would have executives flocking in from different type of industry for 3 days. So, and the other thing we want to do is I want to bring in more adjunct professors from industry. I want to bring in more adjunct professors. I want to talk to the faculty senate to make sure to see if we can have one semester of the students' 4-semester master's program to go away to be intern in an industry or an NGO or in the government. They need to have some practical experience in addition to a textbook and a campus experience. And so I've been having student tea with students once a month, and I've had 2 already. And overwhelmingly, they want to be more engaged with the outside world, more engaged with industry, more engaged with internships, etc. And then, so that's the enterprise aspect. And in addition, you can work with enterprise on problems. Next week, Schneider Electric is coming to talk to the campus. And they're going to talk to us about internship, they'll talk about research collaboration, and they'll talk about what they're doing in terms of smart cities and smart green building and things that we know about also. So that's another area that we will be working with industry on. So that's enterprise. The second E is entrepreneurship. I am setting up a new entrepreneurship center. Okay. By the way, that's up for naming. If anybody wants to donate money, I can name you. I can name the entrepreneurship center after you. All right. And the entrepreneurship center will nurture a startup spirit in our students and also in our faculty. So people that want to set up a business, they may not want to go work for Siam Cement Group. Maybe they want to start their own business. Well, let them have a try. Give them some incubation. Give them leads to venture capitalists. Give them mentorship especially from our alums. We have many alums who started businesses. Alums can be great mentors. And then we'll give them stories of failure because nobody succeeds being an entrepreneur without failing a number of times first. So give them that. And so they come out, and I'll try to have a minor degree, a minor program in entrepreneurship. Not a major. They should major still to some of the same fields that we have, but they should, if they want, they could have a minor in entrepreneurship so they can learn about what it's like to want to be a startup. And I would like my faculty to do that too. So that's the second E. Now, on the second E, who is going to push that? Well, I'm going to have to set up a entrepreneurship center. I want to set up more promotion on commercialization of research by faculty. Okay? Yes, we need them to write papers, we need them to do research, but we also need them to try to commercialize some of the things that they do. Okay? So therefore, to push all this, we're going to set up not only a new entrepreneurship center, we'll set up an Office of Technology Transfer Policy, and then heading all this will be a new vice president, and he or she will be called Vice President for Knowledge Transfer. Okay? This is the third vice president that will be on my team. First is going to be Vice President of Academic Affairs, and second, namely the Provost. Second is going to be Vice President for Administration, and the third will be Vice President for Knowledge Transfer. And this is a key post to make AIT more relevant, and make AIT and put them on the map. So that's what the second E is about. All right? The first S is stakeholders. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, I mean students. I already told you, I think their facilities are substandard. And we really need to get some money to try to improve their facilities. As I said, I'm having student tea once a month with students. About 20 of them show up. They tell me all sorts of stories, many of which are very difficult to solve, and a lot of which have to do with money. But on the other hand, there's some other issues that they bring up is, frankly, I have to say, that if we care more, if we rely less on bureaucracy and more on service, we could solve those. And so that's what I want to do, to make sure that the students, when they come, I don't care whether they're a scholarship student or a self-funded student, when they come here, they should be welcome, and they should be the reason that why we're here. If there are no students, there's no AIT. So this is what students is important. Alumni, I want to make sure that I heard today many good things. But one of the things I heard that was most poignant is I think that we have a succession problem here. I think that many alumni are older, and we hardly have any younger alumni here. Okay, and frankly, that's a problem in in a lot of areas on AIT campus also, okay? But on the other hand, with the alumni, we got to have new blood, we got to have younger people, how to get new graduates to be interested. Those are all tough issues. They're very difficult issues, and they're issues that AA really has to take the lead on. But what I want to do is this is why when I go to your countries, I want to meet with all the alumni, okay? I don't want to just meet with the executive committee. I want to meet with all the alumni. Bring as many as you can out so I can talk to them. The executive committee, I can talk to you anytime, and we could have a private lunch together. You probably come to Bangkok. I see you at the GBM. What I want to do is get to the rank and file, the large number of alumni, and then we could, through that way, maybe recruit some interest among the ordinary alumni, because alumni is key. You know, we were talking about donation today, and I didn't give you a statistic. In the United States, okay, for universities in the United States, over 80% of their donations come from alumni. They don't come from Warren Buffett, okay, somebody who's just wealthy, or the Ford Foundation. They come from the alumni, okay. And so this is why alumni are extremely key to any university's development. But back to alumni, okay? We also don't want to just take the money from you. We want to give service to the alumni. So I want to, you know, I haven't talked to Sanjeev about this yet. He's on an airplane. He doesn't know that I'm talking about this. But I want to set up a system where there will be continuing education for alumni. There will be programs on campus that the alumni, you don't have to wait for another 65th anniversary to come back to the campus. There will be other events that we would ask alumni, if they want to come back, because continuing education is important. You know, I mean, I know that you all have become very successful after AIT, and you really attribute a lot of the AIT, but I'll bet that after AIT, you did a lot of learning on your own. And you did a lot of learning in other places. And so if AIT can provide some of this continuing education, this will be something that I think the alumni would really appreciate. And so that's another thing with alumni. Service, same thing. Some of you who are very familiar with AIT have heard of the term or the initials PMP. Okay, how many of you have heard of that? Okay, it means policies and procedures. That means that anytime you don't want to do anything, you say, oh, the PMP says you cannot do it, okay? Well, I am revising the PMP right now, okay? If something cannot be done, there must be a reason. It's not because it's in the PMP, okay? And so we want to be more service-oriented. We want to go out and solve problems. When the students, as I said, complain to me about certain things, frankly, they have to do with service attitude. So we just need to do better with that. And of course, you know, a basic baseline is integrity. It's a governance that is transparent. It's a governance that is going to be a sound governance. That is just the basic. But above that, you really need to serve the stakeholders in the institute. And donors and friends, they're also stakeholders. So we have to go out and meet the community. I will be going out, meeting people. I feel bad that because I'm here, well, I feel glad that I'm here, but on the other hand, I was invited tonight to a big concert in Bangkok. And my wife just texts me and says, my God, David Beckham is here. Okay. And, you know, I was supposed to be in a box with a lot of, you know, very significant people from Thailand. But she's out there passing out my business card. So this is what we need to do to get our name out to the community. And that's why I said earlier this afternoon, if you know of somebody, okay, and who will be probably a prospect for doing something for AIT, and let me know. And we'll fly out and have a lunch with them and meet them. So that brings me to the last S, which is support. I've already talked about it all day. I don't want to talk about it too much. And that's basically, we must get private donors. If you look at the business model of AIT, you got scholarships from governments, and then you want to have self-funded students. But self-funded students, our tuition is fairly high, all right? And then our programs need to be more attractive. So I'm trying to build more attractive programs, but the tuition probably cannot go down for a while because of the income that we must have in order to thrive. So therefore, we gotta, in the meantime, get private donors. The 360 million I talk about this afternoon cannot allow us to survive for 10 years, or 15 years, or 20 years. What it will do to us, it will repair our infrastructure, it will allow us to have equipment and building a building to compete into the future, and it will allow our students to live a better campus life. And so this will allow us to be a respectable university going forward. But in order to continue on beyond 20, 30 years, we got to do something with the business model. And one way to do something with the business model is really to increase our program's attractiveness, get more self-funded students, and then build up the donation base, and then we go from there. But so that's the I squared, E squared, S squared. It's not going to be easy, and it won't be short. If I come to the next GBM, we'll be in Bangkok. When I go to the next GBM hosted by the Thai alumni, I hope I can report some progress, but don't be disappointed if the progress is not as much as you would like, because the the who will be more disappointed than you will be me, but yet I'm realistic because I know that it takes time to make things happen. However, you can be assured that with me and with Dr. Subin and the board and the staff that I have right now and the team that I'll be hiring, we'll be doing the best we can to make sure the I squared, E squared, S squared are moving along in as brisk, as fast as a pace that is feasible. And again, nothing is possible without the alumni, and this is why I'm so very happy to meet all of you and be here and know that you're passionate about AIT, and together, as I said, innovation for social impact and is what we want to do, and I'm sure that with all of us together, we can do it. Thank you very much.
three of us, me, Prof. Subin, and Dr. Wu, to choose 5 best traditional dress. So, to ease our work, could you please, everybody think that she or he wore traditional dress, just come here and stand. So it will make us easy to choose 5 among you. So,
India! Number 1 is India!
Okay, come here, over here. Okay.
You made a short list. This is just a short list.
First we will choose short listed, and then 5.
Like a Miss Universe.
Okay, first gentleman. You. Cambodia. So everybody. It's not so listed.
Everybody, not shortlisted.
Thumbs up. Okay. How about faith? No? Okay, so no song list. So we'll choose 5 among you. It's very tough.
It's very tough.
I think we will not come to the decision up. It will be very difficult for us. I think you need more time. Perhaps you will decide tomorrow. What do you think?
Hopefully no cat.
How about Namita? You're out there? Namita should be out. Okay, I think these two gentlemen.
These two gentlemen. This is the first two, so they are the winner for the first two.
How about two ladies? Oh, you pick two ladies.
Is Alice? Okay. So now mine. Okay. I should choose one. So
India.
where is India?
Oh, come on. For the Myanmar pair, it should be like this.
It's very difficult.
You pick the fifth one. Yeah, she picks the fifth one.
The fifth one, I think I'll choose Faye.
Okay, fair. Fair.
Okay, because very difficult to choose, so.
Fair at the middle.
So
Faye, come
now
to the
we
middle.
have 5 winners. So thank you.